Hey, my name is Athena and today I'm bringing you the best books that I read in 2018. So, books that I really liked that I read in 2018. This list is not narrowed down to 10. I just wanted to put in the best books that I read this year, and some years that's more than other years. So it's plenty more than 10, so I'm going to try to keep this short. When I started my booktube channel at the end of July, I made a some favorites that I read in 2018 video. So a couple of the books that are in this video are going to be overlapped with that video. So I will try to keep it brief, but I think since I made that video at kind of the beginning of my booktube channel, I don't think, like, some of you may not have seen it because you subscribed after that. So yeah, let's just get into it. I'm gonna start with some favorites and some books that really kind of changed my life in a specific way, or that I really related to. Some fiction and some non-fiction, and after that I'm gonna do them more in order as to how I like them. So yeah, let's just get into it. My favorite book that I read in 2018 was Zondagskind by Judith Visser. You may have heard me talk about this already in several videos. This is a contemporary fiction story based on autobiographical elements by the author, Judith Visser, who grew up with autism. So this book is about a girl named Iasmin, and kind of her childhood and teenagehood, is that a word? Her growing up with autism but not knowing she has autism. And I really personally related to this book so much. I specifically liked the attention it gave to a sensory overload, particularly at school. Sensory overload bothered me so much through primary school and high school and university, and it is unfortunately an aspect of autism that we don't see in books with autistic characters sometimes, because a lot of the time it is more about other aspects of autism, and sensory problems are not always mentioned or properly mentioned. Sometimes they are. Anyway, so I love that in this book there was lots of attention for that, and I just really related to this book. The next book is Vrouwen met autisme by Bronja Prazdny. And these are 13 portraits of 13 women who have autism and kind of their story, and I think they're all, I'm not sure, maybe 10-15 pages or something like that. And it was through this book that I found Judith Visser, because she was one of the portraits in this book. I related a lot to most of these women, not to a couple, but to most of the other ones I really did. I really appreciated also the mention of ADD in here, and so yeah, I think this is one that I will definitely reread, as well as Zondagskind. So yeah. Then the next two books, and so far these books that were also in the other video that I did, are two with the same theme. They are The Hate You Give by Angie and Small Great Things by Jodi Picoult. And I really liked both of these books a lot. They changed my life in the sense that it made it more easy for me to understand what racism is like in America, in the United States, because both of these take place in the United States. The Hate You Give is about a teenage girl named Star. She's black, and her friend gets killed by the police, and the story kind of follows on from there. I really liked this book. I wasn't sure if I was going to, but yeah, I really liked this book, and it gave me a more deeper understanding of racism in America and some of the things related to that, and how it, yeah. So I really appreciated the insights that this book gave me. Then we have Small Great Things by Jodi Picoult, and this book is also about racism in the United States. This is about a black nurse who works at a, what do you call it? like an area of the hospital where the pregnant women go to give birth. And then there's this couple, this white couple. The man in particular is very much right-wing racist, and he doesn't want, he's white and he doesn't want the black nurse to come close to his wife and his to-be-born baby. However, something goes wrong during the birth and the baby dies, and there's a court case. And yeah, I like this book. I didn't like it as much as The Hate You Give. But yeah, I am a fan of Jodi Picoult's writing in general. I have read quite a few of her books and liked them, or loved them. So yeah, I enjoyed this book. Now we get onto some non-fiction that was important to me in my life in some way. We have A Guide to Gender by Sam Killerman, and this book helped me understand like how gender works for most other people. And yeah, it really helped me. Shortly after I read this book, one of my friends, he told me that he's trans, and this book really helped me understand a bit more of what he's going through. I also questioned my own gender for a while, but this book really helped me sort of understand how other people relate to gender, and so yeah, I appreciate it for that. Then we have Body Positive Power by Meg and Jayne Crabbe, and this book talks about the body positive movement basically, and how no matter how like your body looks, you're still worth to be loved. I'm not the greatest at explaining how this book actually worked. If you're interested, I did a review on it. But this really changed my own perspective on like being a big girl, big woman, I should say, being a big woman. And yeah, I really appreciated this book for that. Then we have How to Survive the End of the World When It's in Your Own Head by Gillies. This is a sort of memoir and information book on anxiety. The author himself has anxiety, and I really liked this book. It explained a lot to me. It helped me. It gave plenty of tips. I think it's definitely one that I will reread, and it made me feel more validated in my mind, my anxiety, and so yeah, I really liked this. On top of that, it was also very funny. Then we have Idee MV by Asha and Broeke. This book is about gender norms, and it looks at the ideas of men and women and gender in society, and it explained some things to me. It made me think about some things, and yeah, it was really interesting. Now we get to the books that maybe didn't have a huge impact on my personal life specifically, but that I just really loved. And the first one of that is Lighter Than My Shadow by Katie Green. This is a graphic memoir, and it is about Katie's journey with her eating disorder. And I thought this was really well done. This memoir, it has beautiful art. I just really love this. Next up is Born a Crime by Trevor Noah. This is the first book that I reviewed, I believe, on my booktube channel when I started it in July. This is his memoir of growing up in South Africa, and I really enjoyed this book. It taught me a few things as well about South Africa and racism there, and it was also very funny in the way that he tells the story. And I should mention, Trevor Noah is an a less celebrity in the United States, and he's a comedian. And yeah, I really liked this book. Then we have Miss Shadra by Iasmin Omar Ata, and this is a graphic memoir about the author's experience with epilepsy. And I really liked the art style of this graphic memoir, I mean. And yeah, I thought it was really nice how the epilepsy was, how yeah, how the authors really experience on paper, and yeah, I really like this. Next up is the Wayward Children's series. We have Every Heart a Doorway, all by Seanan McGuire, and Down Among the Sticks and Bones, and we have Beneath the Sugar Sky. And this is the Wayward Children's series, and it is about children and portal worlds, and it is very magical. There is a lot of diversity in this book, in these books, and yeah, I really like this book. The next book in the series should be out early 2019, so I look forward to that. 1000 Perfect Notes by C.G. Drews. I was really excited to read this book because I follow the author's blog, though lately not as much as before, because since I've really been doing YouTube, I haven't been following blogs as much. So I was really curious to read her debut novel, and I really liked it. It is a dark, heavy contemporary about abuse. It's about a Beck who has to play the piano from his abusive mother. So she makes him play, and it is just, it tugs at your heartstrings, so to speak. Then we have The Prince and the Dressmaker by Wang. This is a graphic novel about a prince who likes to wear dresses, basically. I really liked the art style, I really liked the story, I really liked the characters. Yeah, it was a really cute, queer story. I really love this. Kids Like Us by Hilary Reyl. This is a book about a teenage boy named Martin, and he has autism. The story takes place in France, and yeah, I really like this. The Girl Who Drank the Moon by Kelly Barnhill. This is a very magical story about a girl and a witch and a village, and it was really magical. I'm trying to keep this short because this video is becoming long. This was, I think, one of my top fantasy reads, other than the Wayward Children's series, because that is also fantasy. So yeah, I really like this. It's middle grade. Then we have Wabbit by Lissa Evans. And if you're wondering why it looks like this book hasn't been read, it's because it hasn't. I actually borrowed a copy from the library for this book, and then later on decided to buy my own copy because I liked the book so much. This is a magical story, a middle grade, about a girl and the stuffed rabbit that belongs to her sister, the little sister who gets in hospital from an accident. And it's about the older sister going into kind of this fantasy world, and yeah, I really liked it. Then the next book is a reread, and that was The Neutronium Alchemist by Peter F. Hamilton, the second book in the Night's Dawn trilogy. This was a reread, so I was doubting whether it should be on this list or not, but I did put it on there because it was a great book that I read in 2018. And I hope to reread the third book of this trilogy in 2019. I really liked rereading this book. And next up, I have 3 books in the series, and that is the Spogus Mystery series, starting with The Question of the Missing Head. And then we have The Question of the Unfamiliar Husband, and The Question of the Felonious Friend. And I really like this series. In particular, books 1 and 3 I like the most. I like book 2 a bit less. I really like the autism representation in this, and they're also good mysteries. Then lastly, I have 3 books by Alice Oseman. The first one is Heartstopper. This is a graphic novel, but it's actually comics from Tumblr, and oh, I just really love this. It's about 2 male characters and their relationship, and it was very cute. It had great art. Yeah, I really love this. Then we have Radio Silence by Alice Oseman. I read this book earlier in the year, and I really liked it. It's about a podcast and a girl named Frances who is not really sure that she wants to go studying after school. She studies a lot, and she really loves this podcast. Then she meets a boy named Allard. I love that this book had friendship as one of the important themes in it rather than love. There is some love in it, but it is not the main focus of the book, and I like that a lot. So yeah, I really like this book. And then the last book on this list was I Was Born for This by Alice Oseman. I read this book soon after it came out, in May I think it was, in my country. And I really like this book. This is about a band called The Ark and a girl named Angel who really loves The Ark. She's a big fan. And the other main character in this book is Jimmy, who is part of this band, The Ark. And the story is about fandom and anxiety. There is trans representation, there is Muslim representation. So yeah, I really like this book. That was everything. All the books that I really liked that I read in 2018. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I hope to see you in my next one.